You've probably heard of revenue share and you see different models coming out with revenue share and you're wondering, is it worth it? How much can you make? This video is going to break down everything you need to know about revenue share at Real Broker, as well as my personal experience as someone who is actively bringing agents to the company and receiving revenue share. So we're actually going to go straight to the facts. This is not information that is sourced from other places. This is coming directly from the brokerage, as well as my experience being at the brokerage and actively bringing agents to the company and receiving my revenue share payouts every single month. So what exactly is revenue share? Revenue share comes from the brokerage. It is paid to agents who bring others to the company. So revenue share models, they don't actually hire someone to do their recruiting. Instead, they allow any agent in the company to bring someone to the brokerage. And if the person who joins the brokerage names an agent as their sponsor, that sponsor is now able to receive revenue share. At Real Broker, there's an 85-15% split. So the company keeps 15% of the agent's commissions up until an agent caps. We have a 12K cap at Real for the US or a 15K cap in Canada. Once the agent caps, there is no more revenue share paid out because Real is not taking money from the agent. So anytime an agent who joins you closes a transaction, they get paid their commission. The company gets paid the 15%. From the 15%, the company is then going to distribute some of that money back to agents inside of the brokerage who have been involved in bringing these people to the company. So if you sponsor somebody, that person that you sponsor is on your tier one. So we're going to look at this chart here with these funny little characters. And you can see this is you at the front. You're this astronaut guy. And you can bring as many people as you want to the brokerage. But anyone who personally names you as their sponsor is going to go into your tier one. And now let's say you have someone in your tier one and they bring 5 people to the company. Well, all of those 5 people that this tier one person brought are now going to be in your tier two. So you actually earn revenue share anytime someone in any of your tiers closes a transaction. So now there are going to be some specifics that you need to know about this, and we're going to get into that, but it's important to understand that there are 5 tiers of revenue share. Now, you might see at some brokerages, they have more tiers of revenue share. The important thing here to think about when you're comparing, if you're interested in this type of model, is to understand how much revenue share gets paid out on each tier and which tiers you really have the most control over. If the payout is larger on the deeper tiers, we have to remember that we do not have any control over that because we are only bringing people to our tier one. Now, of course, there may be times where you could have someone who wants to join you at the company. They know you, they like you, but maybe they also know somebody else in your organization, or you have someone who you think would really be a great sponsor for them, and you could suggest that they join under someone on one of your other tiers. So that could happen for sure. But for the most part, people who want to join you, they're going to be in your tier one. So I like to really think about that when I'm looking at different models because there are different revenue share models. I've compared all of them. And for me, this is definitely the most lucrative model that I can see. And you'll have to do that research yourself. But if you're interested in understanding more, always feel free to book a call with me. My link is down below. Okay, so now we understand we have 5 tiers of revenue share, but how much money can you make off of each tier? Anyone on your tier one, you're going to earn 5% of any deal that they close, any of their commission. You're going to get 5% of their commission paid out to you. Now, there is a maximum per tier because we have to remember that once this agent caps, the company is no longer taking any money from them because we have a really great compensation plan here for agents. So when the agent caps, you are no longer earning any more revenue share until their cap renews. And the cap renews every anniversary year. So now, if an agent is on your tier two, you are going to earn 4% of any of their commission. If they're on your tier three, you're going to earn 3%, tier 4, 2%, tier 5, you're at 1%. And so for me, this makes perfect sense because if you look at most brokerages, you're going to see that obviously you have the most control over your first tier, even your second tier, because you could really be helping these people in your first tier, to bring agents to the company. You should absolutely do that if you're a sponsor. help people however you can. So, in your first few tiers, you kind of have a little bit more control. Line one, of course, is the most, but when you look at a lot of these organizations, every company is going to have a certain number of people that you need to have in each tier who are producing, or they have different qualifications that each brokerage will have in order to allow you to unlock revenue share on the other tiers. The companies need to do that for many reasons, and it helps protect the financial well-being of the company. So it's very important that there are certain things in place for the company in order for this plan to actually make sense and to be available and to last long term. So when you look at that and you see how many people you need to have in your first tier in order to unlock your lower tiers, you will see that in some brokerages there are deeper tiers. However, most agents, vast majority, never unlock the deeper tiers because you do need to bring people to your first tier in order to unlock those other tiers, or there could be other requirements. For example, at Real, and we're going to get into it, they've actually now made it easier for you to unlock more of your tiers. So also, again, something to consider when you're looking at models. So here we go. We looked at the percentage. We have 5%, 4%, 3%, 2%, and 1% of the commission that we collect off of each of their transactions, depending on what tier they're in. Now, how do we unlock all of these tiers? Well, at Real, you need to be a producing agent yourself. What this means is that you have to pay $450 to the brokerage in commission splits once every 6 months. So if you close a deal today and you give the brokerage your 15%, as long as that's $450, you will be in producing status for 6 months. So if in 6 months from now you close another deal, essentially 2 deals a year, you should be in producing status for the whole year. Now, this can come from a deal that you close yourself. It can come from multiple transactions. So if you're doing, let's say, smaller transactions or multiple leases, or it could also be from referrals. So it could be from you referred someone to someone else and you collected a referral fee. Perfect, you're good for that. Or if you're a team leader and you have agents on your team and you collect a split of their commission, so it's pretty easy to remain in producing status yourself. So as long as you're in producing status, you're going to be earning all of the revenue share that you are entitled to. So you're automatically entitled to revenue share on anyone in your tier one. So anyone who's in your tier one, you're going to be earning that 5% of their commission every time they close a deal up until the time that they cap. Now, in order to start earning revenue share off of your tier two, you are actually going to have at least 5 producing agents in your tier one. So once you have at least 5, see how it says 5 to 14 here? Once you have at least 5, you are going to unlock your tier two. And if you want to unlock your tier 3, you need to have 15 to 19 producing agents inside of your tier 1. Tier 4, you're going to have at least 20. And if you want to unlock your tier 5, you need 25 producing agents in your tier 1. So this is the classic traditional way to unlock your tiers, which is by having enough producing agents in your tier 1. Now let's look at the new ways that you can unlock your tiers in addition to adding agents to your first tier. The next path is if you yourself are a large attractor. So you start to bring a ton of agents to the brokerage. Well, it doesn't matter how many producing agents you have in your tier 1, the company is going to reward you for helping to build the culture, the community, and all those things by allowing you to unlock your tiers, even if you technically don't have enough producing agents in your tier 1. You can actually unlock up to tier 3, so tier 1, 2, and 3 automatically by having 750 agents in your total organization. Or you can unlock up to tier 4 by having 1,000 agents in your total organization, or tier 5, so all 5 tiers unlocked if you have 1,500 agents in your entire organization. So by growing your organization or your network at Real, you are then going to be able to unlock more tiers. The third way to unlock more tiers is actually just going to be focusing on selling real estate. So we have a lot of people who come to Real and this is not their main focus, but they're still bringing some agents to the company. They have friends, they talk to people, whatever the reason is, people are joining them at Real, naming them as their sponsor, but they don't have a lot of people maybe in their tier 1 to unlock all of their tiers. That's okay. Once you cap at Real, you hit your $12,000 cap. If you're in the US, or $15,000 cap in Canada, you're going to automatically unlock tiers 1, 2, and 3. And if you hit elite status, you are going to unlock all 5 tiers. So now we understand how we unlock the tiers, and how much each tier can pay out in terms of the percentage from the commission. Now let's look at the dollar amount. So anyone on your tier 1, if they cap, you're going to get $4,000. So you're going to get the 5% off of every closing that they have, every commission that they have. You receive 5% of that commission, up to $4,000 until the time that they cap. Now, some people think that if the agent doesn't cap, you don't get anything. That's not true. You get paid whenever the payout happens for that agent. You get to collect the revenue share, or the 5%. Now, on your tier 2, you can collect up to $3,200. Tier 3 is $2,400. Then we have $1,600 and $800. So this is how much per year, anniversary year, you can get per capping agent. So now let's just say that you have 10 agents who join you at the brokerage and they cap. That means you make $40,000 on your revenue share just for your tier 1. And since you have 10 people on your tier 1, if each of those 10 people brings 2 people, now you have 20 people potentially on your tier 2. So you can do the math here. Now you have 20 on tier 2, and each of those 20 people actually caps. That is $64,000 on your tier 2, plus you had your $40,000 on your tier 1. So that is $104,000 off of those 2 tiers. Now, this is assuming that all of these agents are capping agents. We know that in the world of real estate, not every agent is a capping agent. So when you look at numbers like this, it's always important to really think about what agents do you know, the type of agents that you might be able to attract to the company, and what type of production do they have. You can also just think, realistically, if you look at a group of agents, how many of them are capping, how many of them aren't, typically how much money do they make per year. It's going to help you to gauge and to better project how much you can make, but this is looking more on the best case scenario if these agents cap. So you can see here how quickly this can add up. Now let's look per transaction what this might look like. So let's say you have this lovely lady in your tier 1 and she closes a deal. Her transaction pays her a $10,000 commission. From that $10,000 commission, this agent is going to keep $8,500. That's 85%. The brokerage is taking the 15%, which is $1,500. Real is going to keep $1,000 of that, and they are going to give to you $500. So an agent collects $10,000 means you get $500. That's pretty good. Now, you can think about what's the average kind of commission check in your market, especially if you're attracting more agents in your local market. You'll be able to kind of predict. So, for example, where I live, typically we see homes around $1 million and above. We look at in the 850,000 to the 1.2 million. It's a pretty typical home that we see around here. So we also usually see commission around 2.5%. Now, obviously, we all know commission's negotiable, so we're not going to get into that, but this is more in terms of business planning and just estimating the numbers. So when we look at that, and I know that typically an agent is going to receive around $20,000 commission on a $1 million home, I know that my revenue share is $1,000 on that sale. So this gives you a good understanding. Now we're going to just look at another example here in your tier 2. So for your tier 2, we're looking at that same $10,000 commission. Let's assume you've unlocked your tier 2. On the $10,000 commission, same split, they keep $8,500. Revenue share is $900. Well, this is the total revenue share that's paid out between your organization, right, with you and the people who are below you. So you are actually getting 4%. So the 4% of 10,000 is going to be $400. You can see right here, they actually put it here. So if you look at you now in number 1, you're getting 400. The person in your tier 1, the person who actually sponsored this tier 2 agent, is getting $500. And we can go down the line now, same $10,000 commission. Someone inside of your tier 3 earns this $10,000 commission. You get $300, but you can see the company has actually distributed this $1,200. Someone in your tier 4, you get $200. That's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1% down the line. This gives you a great understanding of how revenue share is actually organized and actually paid out by the company. If you have any other questions, use the link down below and give me a call. We also have something called co-sponsorship. I'll probably make a video on that, but just know if you co-sponsor someone to the brokerage, they're actually choosing 2 sponsors. And so you split the revenue share 50-50 with the other sponsor. So I hope this was helpful. Subscribe for more videos and I'll see you in the next one.